Yeah, very warm welcome. It's two P's in a podcast. The other P's off today. It's Andy. It's 21st of December. Three lucky sevens, but sadly not for survivor Carol Whyte. There's no luck in this story, but hey, let's go over and tell you a bit more. For a survivor, Carol Whyte, Fornethy survivor, she's hit out recently with other survivors at the unbelievable historical child abuse sentencing of Patricia Robinson, who was handed a community sentence, something the Fornethy survivors says is absolutely devastating. So, Carol, welcome to the show.
Thank
Just
you.
let us probably have a background of you going into Fornethy and what you remember happening, what you learned later that happened, and what do you think of this sentencing?
Well, I went to Fornethy. It was meant to be a holiday. It was a 6 week holiday, and it was a holiday from hell. I came across a teacher called Mrs. Patricia Robertson, and she made my life hell there. I was force fed, I was beaten, and it was just punishment after punishment. The place was like a prison to any pupil that was there, and it ended up after I'd left Fornethy and went home. I just went home and got on with my life. I blocked it out for years. I think around about 2017 it started coming back to my memory, and I started talking to people about it on a forum, and then that withered away. And then 2020 I came forward as a Fornethy survivor, and I'd reported it to the police that I'd been abused in Fornethy Residential School. It eventually took about 5 years for it to reach court. The police investigated and they found the teacher that abused us, and they brought it to court. She got found 18 guilties out of 25 by the jury, and then we were to go back on December the 3rd, and she didn't get sent to prison, and she got an unduly lenient sentence.
No, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, top of my head, I think she got 1 year where she has to be indoors between 3 p.m. and midnight, and about 3 years of what we call probation, or at least supported social work
Mm-hmm.
involvement. And she had to pay £1,000 per survivor, 16,000 pounds. I mean, it's not about the money.
No,
And you you just I mean, I know you can get handed £100,000 for being raped as a child. I know people, and you know people as well. My wife's one of them. That money just goes, one way or the other. It's not even that. What most survivors take from it is the apology, not from the government. That ain't an apology. Apology from the abuser or the organisation and somebody going to prison for it. That is what people want, and that's what makes you forget. But you don't get that. You don't get justice.
well, she got three. She was to do a social work background before she was to go back for sentencing, and she didn't show any remorse at all. She says that we were in it for money gain, and the judge wasn't very happy that she'd said that. He said that wasn't the case at all, and more or less what she done was cruel to us, and we were put in her care where she should have nurtured us and not treated us the way that she did. And at one point, it got to 3/4 of the way where he was saying his bit, and we all thought that she was going to get sentenced because he mentioned custodial a few times, and nothing came of it. So it was a big disappointment when no sentence came of it, because it took a lot for all the survivors to come forward and give their statement on the stands and even do webcam. And this is what we faced at the end up.
Yeah, and I mean, from a judge point of view, the judge openly said she's past the custody threshold. But then said something weird because she's never been into prison before. Then
Mm-hmm.
we've got to find some alternative. Well, I'm sorry, but every paedophile, every abuser should go to jail. It's the only way they're going to learn, or it's the only way people like yourself are going to get justice.
Well, he was trying to consider his age. That's what he said about her age. Now, at the end of the day, why should they consider our age when they didn't consider our ages? When she was abusing us, she never thought about us being children, us being young girls, and what impact it would have. She never thought, maybe I shouldn't be doing this to them. And it was continuous abuse that she done to different girls. So it wasn't like she picked up victims. She done it to several girls over the years, and it must be thousands of girls she done it to.
Do you think it was part of the environment in care homes at the time? Because a lot of people, when Joanne came forward, she had problems with a female care worker who then I think became a nun. And that was run by Glasgow City Council in Paisley Road West.
Uh-huh.
And in that particular home, there weren't just the one that actually sexually abused her was the problem. The other nuns were actually physically beating kids. Do you think it was a culture in all care homes that Glasgow had anything to do with?
Yeah, yeah, I do think it was a thing in all these institutional places. But when she was in court, she said that we knew the rules. She was strict and firm and denied all the abuse charges on her, to the extent she got four other teachers to back her up, where they sat and lied through their teeth. And then another teacher came up, and when she was asked what it was like in Fornethy, she said it was horrendous, and she spoke about the force feeding, how she saw Mrs. Robertson force feed young girls.
I mean, I, I'm going to quote, I think this is you. Hopefully it is. If not, it doesn't matter. But hopefully it is you. I think it's excited them to hurt us. I think they got enjoyment out of having power and control over children. I mean, they're there to be strict with you, but not that strict, I mean,
There's limits.
I think in them days, though, you were allowed to, um, was you allowed to smack kids on the hand and, that sort of thing on the backside. But, what you've been talking about was definitely physical,
Oh, it was definitely
beyond,
physical.
beyond belief, amazing. Not amazing, but, the opposite. Shocking.
It's just unjust what's happened at the end, because we've all came forward to bring it forward so that we could get justice. And it's about getting justice and an apology, where a lot of people misunderstand and think, well, maybe they've come forward for the money. And it's never ever been about money gain. It's about bringing her to court. But unfortunately, there was supposed to be somebody else that was meant to come with her. And there was other teachers that done the same thing, and they got away with it
Yeah, I
through
saw that. There's
passing away.
other names mentioned, but she was the only one in the dock.
But at the end of the day, I mean, they sentence murderers, so why do they not sentence paedophiles?
First time murderers.
No, like the
Absolutely.
first time. I mean, they were saying that she was low risk because she's never committed a crime. But yes, she has committed a crime. She's done it against children. And adults are meant to protect children.
What for first time murderers
And she failed. She failed poorly. And so did the rest of them.
And then we got obviously the inquiry saying, well, your 2 months in a home or your 6 weeks isn't enough. I think that's absolutely disgusting because as long as you were there, and as long as you were beaten or raped, that is qualifying. That is enough.
6 months, 6 minutes, 6 weeks, 6 years. Abuse is abuse, isn't it?
It is. It is.
and it was horrendous for anybody that went there. That got abused and got abused in the hands of these people, because people must have known that was happening and turning a blind eye.
So, your sort of group, the Fornethy people, they've had to fight harder, haven't they? And, with Nazareth House and quarries and all that, that was kind of easy because they were believed more, and that's probably hurting you guys more than anything.
It's
Just
not so.
because yours was short.
Uh-huh.
And the holiday, you said, you was expecting a holiday, other people going there for um that word you used, I've forgotten.
Oh, for convalescence.
Yeah, convalescence.
Mm-hmm.
But it turned out to
Um,
be, yeah, I mean, as all the papers say, it was a house of horrors.
it is a house of horrors. It was a house of horrors because they made it the house of horrors. I mean, it's a beautiful building. It was a lovely building. When you got there, you thought, wow, what a lovely building. It was built for the Coates sisters, Lillian and Margaret Coates, and it got handed down to Lord Gurtana. And from there, it got handed to Glasgow District Council, and he betrothed it to them for a residential school. And that's what it was meant to be.
And of course, I mean, from the Courier, it says Carol Whyte remembers being forced to eat her own vomit and being smacked on the head by cruel teachers.
Yeah.
The 50-year-old was sent to Fornethy House Residential School in Angus for a holiday. It was touted as a place for disadvantaged girls to learn about the environment and use the beautiful countryside. Well, it was anything but beautiful at the time, I guess.
Well, the house was surrounded by a forest, so it was quite scary. And when you got outside the forest, it's all road and track, and it's in the middle of nowhere. So if you wanted to run away and try and get help, where would you run? You'd
It
have nowhere to
sounds,
go.
yeah, it sounds, I can picture a scene out of Dracula movie.
I'm a house of horrors.
Yeah, that one.
It's definitely a horror. Somewhere you wouldn't forget. But the only thing is, when we went to go for our files in Fornethy, it was like Quarries in Nazareth House, because the files disappeared. There is
We've
no
lost,
files.
yeah, we've lost them.
Hmm.
But little do they know, even though they did lose them, some people, I mean, my wife Joanne, she had the same problem, of course. They weren't in the GP records. That particular 2-year period had gone, but social work had a little bit, then someone else had a little bit, and
Hmm.
bit by bit we pieced it all together.
Yeah.
And that's what gave her the best argument.
Uh-huh. There's wee pieces there. It's just getting them all together. It's just building it up as a case.
Is there any kind of um, appeal procedure you can have against Patricia?
Well, the courts, the Crown wasn't happy with the sheriff's decision. They thought it was unduly lenient, so
Oh,
they put
that's
in for
good.
a review. So
That's good.
fingers crossed, but not too sure what's going to happen. So that will probably not follow up till next year now.
But you
Once
can't build
in,
your hopes up either. But if it happened, it'd be a nice Christmas and New Year present.
it's hard to build your hopes up. You hope that it will happen. You have hope and faith, but you don't know what's going to happen because it has so many twists and turns. Because when you think you're getting somewhere, there's always a stumbling block to stop you.
I mean, well done to the Crown Office because normally that'd be it, that'd be the end of it. But I think there's too many people involved in this case where they have to step in and say, look,
Hmm.
16, 60 people, or whatever the number is, couldn't be that wrong.
Hmm. No, no, no. Not all of us are lying. There's no possible way. No way. And we could all identify Patricia Robertson
I mean,
as
a
a.
child today could be beaten up in the same way, and well, the very bare minimum, somebody would probably get a few months in jail, wouldn't they?
Well, there was
So,
one case, there was the foster carer, I think her name was Yvonne Keenan, and she went to Glasgow Sheriff, and I think it was 3 children she abused,
mm,
and they came forward, God bless them, and I think she got 22 to 32 months in prison, and she
yeah,
was a low risk, and she never, it's just same situation, but it was 3 children in her care she abused, to the extent one ate paint, that they were that hungry. So why didn't Patricia Robertson get the same treatment? I mean, don't get me wrong, it was good. We were so pleased that we got the 18 guilties. It should have been 25 out of 25, but unfortunately it was 18. But with that in the Glasgow High Court, that should have carried a sentence, a custodial. And
no,
it doesn't
absolutely. I
matter.
think when the Crown Office gets involved, there's been an error in law, definitely, and
Mm-hmm.
um, you can't say this and then do that. You know, the judge has obviously made an error of law. It probably wasn't even intentional, but it's happened, and that's why they're looking at it. And
It's just the fact her showing no remorse as well. I mean, that speaks volumes itself.
well, that'll reflect on the sentence, won't it? If there's another one.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. But it's just a waiting game.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm only guessing. You don't have to agree, but I'd say most people will be happy. Look, she's nearly 80. If she got a couple of years in jail, well, that's better than nothing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're not expecting 20 years in jail or die in jail,
No.
maybe. Some may be wanting that, but I think to get a custodial sentence of any type would be all right.
Yeah, but just like her to go to prison, to feel the way that we felt, because Fornethy, as soon as that door shut when you went there, that was like being in a prison itself. It was horrible because you got off the bus, you went in the doors, and when the door slammed shut, that was it. You were there with them, and it put the fear of God because you knew what was happening. You started crying, you couldn't cry because they'd rip it out you if you started crying. Literally. They'd tell you your parents didn't love you, you were disgusting, and all different things. So it wasn't so much the physical side, it was a mental side as well.
Mental torture's worse sometimes.
hmm But because you don't know where the mental torture is coming from. And she was just a nasty individual. She was never nice. So at the end of the day, we were cold, we were scared, we wanted our mums, and that was it. We were forced to write letters home to say that we were having a lovely time. And if we didn't do it, she would hit us with a ruler or she'd do some cruel act. It was always cruel acts she done to us. It was if she did get pleasure out of it. And as I said before, it was about having control over children. We were kids. So she
And
always
yeah,
had something wrong with her head.
I met a lot of people like Patricia Robinson in the past. Um, but hopefully you're going to get the justice. We can't obviously build our hopes up, but
The waiting game.
you've just got to be strong there, you know what I mean? Most survivors I met, thank God they're getting on with their lives, but it's hard because it affects your relationships, it affects your sleep, it affects everything.
Oh, uh-huh.
I mean, I can imagine you've had flashbacks the last couple of years while this trial
hmm
is being
I've had
discussed.
I've had flashbacks on and off since it started, but since the case itself at court, I can't sleep properly at night. So I can go to sleep about 10 o'clock and then wake up at 12, and that's me up all night
Because I
till the
know a
next
time
day.
when, well, I know we've only really been Facebook sort of messenger people, but I've known a time where your dream was, you know, to get something done, some justice, and then I've been away for a little bit, and you come back and said, "We've got somebody. She's going to court." I mean, what an amazing thing that you told me there.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know
For
what?
then
I've got
this to happen,
a lot to thank Dundee Police for because they actually caught her, but they also caught the headmistress, Mrs. Fletcher. That was the one above. Mrs.
mm,
Fletcher was the head teacher, and Mrs. Robertson was the deputy teacher. But Mrs. Fletcher died in November 2021. So technically she got away with it. The police took her in, but never got anywhere with her. But Mrs. Fletcher was, I think she was in her 80s, around about that age.
Mm.
So she passed on. So
Wow.
death let her get away with it.
Maybe she got her justice in a different way.
Well, she's in
Her
hell now.
comeuppance, I mean.
A lot of them have passed on, so that's how they're getting away with it all.
Well, you stay strong, eh? And we'll try and get this little broadcast out everywhere we can, because what we want to do is give people the hope to come forward and to stay strong, because
I would urge survivors to come forward and even report to the police that this has happened to them.
you think
Because
there's
it would
more
help.
Fornethy
It would
people,
help
yeah?
build it up again, and she won't get away with it because she's already been caught. So
you think there's more Fornethy people out there that
there's
haven't come
thousands out
forward?
there. There's thousands. Because
Wow.
it started in the 60s and it went on to 1990. I think it was 93, 96. I'm not sure when it ended, but there's thousands of girls out there. I think the girls stopped in 1984, but they used the residential school after that, and boys would go up there. But it wasn't like the way we had it. It was a different environment in that. And it was like an adventure for them because they'd go up there and they'd have the adventure that we were meant to have. So it was just unfortunate.
That sounds
that
scary.
we got what we got. And now women are suffering because of it. But I would say come forward and get the justice that you deserve.
And of course, if you're a survivor of any other care home or school setting, residential or other, go forward that way too, because
Or tell any survivor to come forward, not live in silence, because it's not the way to go. Because you just get tortured, and then that person's getting away with it.
I know that. I mean, as a husband, it's easier for someone, because Joanne being a survivor, she wanted to just forget about it, trying to muddle on every day, but I didn't force her, but I very much encouraged her. Now, this was before any compensation. Told her to go to the police, and I kind of felt guilty because I thought this is going to backfire, because it's going to make her more ill than it's worth.
Yeah.
The justice, But no, she turned the corner and started telling people about it, the hospitals and that. And yeah, she's became so strong recently.
Yeah, I think it does make you
Sleeps a lot,
stronger.
but that's life.
It does make you stronger. It does make you stronger. And it changes things. But getting to the point, need closure. It's about getting closure now. And every woman that went to Fornethy needs that.
Yeah, I think it's the only way, because Joanne's a new person now. She got the closure she wanted, and it was the type of an apology rather than the money. To be believed is worth millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It is brilliant to be believed, because we never thought we would be believed. And when that day, when they gave the verdict that it was 18 guilties, it was such a feeling. But when we went back for the sentencing, that's what kicked us in the teeth.
18 guilty, so that's 36, that's two. So per survivor, she's got 2 months per person on probation, and yeah, well, it doesn't, nah.
It's disappointing when you work it out.
Disappointing, it's shocking, because
he clearly knows we were abused. He kept using the word clearly as well. He called her a sadist or something like that. And he did give her the riot act, but sitting there watching it in the court itself and watching it all happen, you couldn't believe it. Because I had to get up and walk out before the court even finished off. Because he did have us believing that she was gone down.
£1,000 in compensation for 18 victims. I mean, he shouldn't have even bothered offering anything, really, should he?
No, because that see the £1,000 that displeased everybody, because that just hurts you, because we're not wanting money. We want the justice. We want an apology, and we want acceptance. We want Glasgow Corporation, to admit that it happened. We want our files or something, and we need closure.
Yeah, Lord Colbeck, his name was, said
Mm-hmm.
the offences had passed the custody threshold. Well, that only means one thing: prison.
There was only one place for her to go, to prison, and she should have went there that day. You know, it's just I can't get my head round it.
I mean, a
Get my head
drink
round.
driver would have gone to jail, wouldn't he, or she?
Oh,
You know,
just try to figure it out.
figure it out. It's obviously an error in law. It has to be, because the other sentence he could have given was like a suspended prison sentence, which is a little bit more harsh than what she actually got,
Mm-hmm.
which would have made you think, well. But no, he gave her basically nothing.
But if she doesn't go by their rules, she'll be back up. But that's nothing
That's
what she's
nothing.
got. Well, she's not got a liberty, but it's between certain hours, so she can still have part of her life, but it's only short term. What happened to our lives? We've had to live with this.
I mean, if she went to jail for 2 years, she'd probably be out in one. So that wouldn't, for a person of her age, should get the punishment, you'd get the justice,
Mm-hmm.
and then she'd still better die in relative peace. But that's not the point.
I always thought the High Court in Glasgow was the highest court that could not give a high sentence, but obviously not.
Well, a Crown Court or the High Court, a Crown Court in England.
I think the sheriff might have gave her a heavier sentence, maybe.
I was going to say, yeah, but you're talking minimum of, I think, is it a minimum? Sheriffs can give up to 2 years now in prison,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the High Court is more than 2 years.
It's over 5.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe he thought legally she does deserve the jail, but 5 years is a bit excessive. But I don't think so. But I mean, that's maybe how the
That would have
legal
been
stuff
plenty, wouldn't it,
works.
of 5 years, because she might have died in prison. It would have done everybody a favour. Sorry
Yeah,
to
that wouldn't
sound
have
so
been a
harsh, but
problem. But yeah, I think but like you said, if the Crown Office is looking at it, there must be some kind of legal problem.
hopefully the review will come and we'll see what happens. I don't really know what happens in these reviews. I know that the Crown's put it forward, so it's just waiting and seeing what happens now. I don't think we'll hear it until January time. So can always keep my fingers crossed and everything else, and just hope we get some sort of justice out of this.
Yeah. I mean, she deserves something. I mean, to not say sorry, I mean, that's bad, isn't it?
No, she couldn't even turn around and say sorry. She just, I don't know, she's just unbelievable.
From 1967 to 83, all that happened. Oh dear. Yeah, and it does say thousands of people that went there hasn't come forward yet.
Yeah, but maybe one day they will. It is hard to come forward, and it takes a lot. But when you do, it takes that weight off your shoulders, and it makes a big difference.
Well, we'll make sure this little podcast goes as far as we can. I don't just put it to one place. In fact, I put it several different places like
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. different places, but with different titles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've got to be the truth. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Was you a Fornethy survivor? Have you come forward yet? That kind of thing. And then
Even
another
if
one
they
will
want to
be,
contact you and do it that way, contact you to contact me, that'd be absolutely fine.
you ever contact me, I'll contact you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there'll be another probably headline like basically child abuser teacher, Patricia, blah, 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 lenient sentence.
Mm-hmm.
That triggers things on the internet if you change the titles.
I mean, she's got away with it too long, so something needs to be done. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. I wish you luck, Carol. I mean, I know how much it's meant to you all these years.
hmm Well, it's had an impact on my life and my family's life as well. My children have suffered through it as well, so it's
It's definitely
now time for us to have a peaceful life.
it's definitely a family event. I know that myself.
It has an impact, and that's what she should have paid for as well. But what can you say?
Oh yeah, just before we go, because we're nearly up with the 40 minutes, the Scottish government, where do you stand on that one? We know it's not about the money.
The
Um,
redress, at the moment, they're saying no to the redress because it's short term. They
yeah,
feel that it's got to be long term survivors that should be getting the redress. It's other ladies that seem to be doing the redress thing at the moment that they're fighting for it, and I hope they do well with it.
because like I said, I know some survivors, they may have been in care for like 10, 20 years or whatever it is, you
hmm
know, 10, 5 years, whatever. That is long term in care, but the abuse only happened probably for 2 days out of that 5 years, as an example. So if that qualifies, why don't, constant abuse for 6 weeks?
Uh-huh.
Just because you were only there for 2 months. Yeah, there's something wrong with the redress scheme on that one.
I don't think it should be the time scale. I think it should be the torment that you put through.
Yeah, they
Um,
should scale it on the level of how it's affected you.
hmm and like so, how the impacts affected you, and how you get on a day to day life. Not the timing or anything like that, because it could happen one day in your life, and it affects you for the rest of your life.
Oh,
You can't put a
absolutely,
time
yeah.
scale on abuse.
One newspaper article, I think it was yourself. Do you remember Fletcher and you bust into tears? It sort of triggered off a
I've seen a
memory.
picture of him,
Hmm.
and it was the first time in 40 years, and it took me back. A lot of things have took me back there. It was like when I took the stand, it took me back in Fornethy, and different questions getting asked. It takes you back now. It reminds you just the place setting and everything,
Yeah,
because it
because
had.
unlike the redress scheme, when you go to court as a witness, they actually put you through the hassle of, are you sure that that was her? Are you sure that this happened? And you almost get interrogated, don't you, by
You'd never
their
forget the
their legal
faces.
team.
You'd never forget the face. You'd never forget her face. No face like that. They stick up there. It's
Absolutely,
something you
yeah, I
can't
know.
forget. And it's what they say to you as well. It sticks in your head as well. And their actions. It's just disgusting what's happening. And things need put to rest. Because people need to move on in life.
Yeah, and see, that's another one, isn't it? It's not just a couple of years. It's you want to forget it because it's been your whole life.
Mm. Well, it's been there. It's been it's been hanging about there, but I didn't realise till later on in life, because I'd been bringing up my children and doing different things in my life. And I was on Facebook and somebody had said about Fornethy, and that was it. Back
So we
then.
need to get the word out a bit more.
Yeah.
I'll put my email in at the end, and then people
Got
can
it.
email if they've got any information or they just want to get in contact with yourself.
The Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service are to consider if a sentence handed to a child abuser was unduly lenient. Patricia Baxter was found guilty of 18 counts of abusing children in her care at Fornethy House in Angus over 3 decades. Due to factors including her age, she was given a probationary sentence rather than being sent to prison. The Crown Office says the law only allows appeals in very rare circumstances.